My name is crisisaurus. I'll be running Pokemon Scarlet with Teal Mask. I may have sunk a few hundred hours into this. My life splits might tell me otherwise. But yeah, this is the DLC category where we're going to be doing DLC shenanigans and doing the DLC story. So without further ado, if we are ready on the timer, we will begin the speedrun in 3, 2, 1, go. So timing does start on first movement, and the first thing before we do anything is we are going to be going shopping. We're going to be buying 11 X attacks and then leaving, because we do not need anything else. And before we go into the Teal Mask, we're actually going to make a couple of other detours. So this, if you're wondering, no, this is not the beginning of the game. We find the beginning of the game to be too boring to play through, so we're just skipping the 50 minutes and just starting from when we get our ride. So we are going to need to actually catch the Pokemon that we're going to be using. So here we're going to go through this way. If you've seen Path of Legends, kind of similar movement. We're going to be going inside this cave to grab this Dusk Ball. As just before this run started, I set the time to be night on purpose. If you don't know, you can do that. The timer is on a every day is on a 72-minute timer. So you just find the minute that is nighttime. We're going to also be picking up this Carbos that is right over here. And then we're going to do a neat little trick that we're going to steal from Super Mario 64, which is a BLJ. All we're doing is just we're back, but not a backwards long jump, it's a backwards ledge jump. So we're just going on a ledge, we're jumping backwards, and it allows us to climb ledges much faster than we're supposed to. That's definitely intended by the game because it's been almost a year and they have not patched that out yet. So here we're going to be grabbing ourselves an Ultra Ball, and hopefully the Pokemon that we want to use does not take forever to spawn. It is apparently a 60 encounter rate, but I do not believe that at all. As you can clearly see, the Pokemon that we are wanting to use is not spawning at all. Please, can you spawn for me, buddy? I feel like I'm gonna find a shiny Pokemon before I find the Pokemon I need to actually use. Please, video game. I would appreciate it. No? Video game, please. I know you're mean, but this is a welcome to Marathon Luck, everybody, where it's just, you know, it's not right. Come on, please. Can you spawn? Actually, it's actually getting bit ridiculous. There you are. Here's the Meditite. It just took its time to spawn. Hopefully, with all this effort, it is actually a runnable Meditite and not just an unrunnable Meditite. If not, we will just switch to the backup file. So here it goes inside this Dust Ball. It gets caught. No real problems here. And let's see if this Meditite is actually runnable. We are specifically checking for two things here. One, if it has enough runnable speed, and the other is if it has the correct Terra type. So here, it's the wrong Terra type, so I'm going to actually reset this. Go to the backup save, and yeah, load that up. So yeah, typically you're checking three things. You're checking its Terra type, more on that later. Checking its attack, needs to be good enough attack, and you need to also check its speed, which is also that. But since I saw immediately that it was fighting Terra type and not psychic Terra type, I'm just not going to take that and just load the backup save instead. So despite the fact that I have the Meditite in this backup save, which loads us here, we're still not done with main Paldea. We're actually going to be picking up a few items that are very important for this run. Specifically, EXP candies. So, if you play Pokemon but have no idea what an EXP candy is, allow me to explain. So, in this game, there's two types of candies. Rare candies and experience candies. Rare candies increase your level by 1, and experience candies give you a set number of experience instead of levels. And experience candy is going to be our primary way of getting all of the experience that we're going to need to essentially never have to grind at all in this category, but also be somewhat over-leveled throughout the entire game. So, oh, hi, Watchel. Nice to see you there. So here we're going to go for this little far-off detour to grab 3 more experience candy mediums, and we're going to go fly back to the school and actually start the DLC campaign. DLC story, I should say. Before we do that, we are going to go into our boxes. We're going to put Lechonk in our party, and we're also going to move the Meditite out of the boxes, and we're going to go into the school, talk to what is definitely not suspicious character number 1 throughout the entire story, and actually start the mask by going through a bunch of dialogue. So, a little bit of history about this. Meditite and Medicham is not the only main used in this category. Flamigo was first used because if it's good in any percent, surely it's good enough in DLC. Turns out it's good, but not quite good enough. Then we switched our main to a new Scarlet and Violet Pokemon, Espathra, who is a very fast and powerful psychic type, but it's actually not quite that powerful. And then 2 other mains have been theorized to be good, being Gardevoir and Gallade. Both are good in their own right, but have their own problems. And the main that we'll be using, which is currently the fastest main on the main leaderboards, being Medicham. Speaking of Medicham and Meditite, we do have an incentive, which is to actually nickname the Medicham. Even though we've caught it, we will be nicknaming it a little bit later because it's optimal for menuing. But, yeah, it's about, 15-ish minutes before we actually get into the nicknaming of the Meditite. And if I'm curious, what is in the lead for that?
We currently have Onion Knight in the lead with €7.
Onion Knight. I guess Meditite kind of looks like an onion if you really look at it. So, makes sense. Medicham, not quite so much, but I can definitely see that happening. But, yeah, so as of finally we get to, once the game loves its dialogue boxes, by the way, so we're going to be seeing a lot of that. In fact, you could argue that the majority of this game is text boxes with some cool moments. But if you're not hearing a bunch of mashing, that is because this game allows for turbo. So I'm going to be pretty much just doing the lazy mashing method. Yes, arguably mashing is faster, but we care about our hand health here. Anyway, welcome to the land of Kitakami, where the rest of this speedrun will happen. Because why would we ever need to go back to mainland Paldea? The answer is, we don't. So, also, say hello to these 3 school children who have no names, by the way. They're just NPCs that are just here. Because apparently, plot-wise, we were lucky enough to get ourselves a school trip. One of the few people to get a school trip here. Because, main character plot armor or something. I don't know. You tell me what it is. But the story is, as of right now, pretty simple. We just arrived, and one of the kids is apparently feeling sick, so we have to go run up and get the caretaker to help us out. So, and they said run because we are not allowed to ride our legendary dragon motorcycle here for this section. It's the only time they do this. So we actually have to run and walk, which is, our favorite thing to do here. So we're going to try and avoid encounters because as of right now, we only have a level 3 Lechonk in our party. So if we run into something, well, we're gonna kind of struggle. We're also gonna see the game just not process at all because fun optimized gameplay. This is 2023 Nintendo Switch game. You have to do lag optimization. My favorite. It also might seem like I'm talking a lot of negatively about this game, but I do still enjoy a lot of aspects about this game. It's just I will talk a lot about this game in a not so positive note, because I have had this game crash on times I wish it didn't. Hopefully we won't see any, since we are loading a backup save. We have autosave on, so if it does happen, well, we can at least load the autosave again. Anyway, here's Kieran and Carmine. We're going to be seeing these characters a lot. They live here. They're also part of the other school that's hosting this exchange, and they do not like us because we are outsiders, and they don't like it, and they don't like us. So we're going to. So Carmine's going to be like, let's challenge you two to a fight, just because why not? We want to see how good you are. And you might have remembered, we have a level 3 Lechonk in our party. I think that's going to be a fine fight, right? I don't think there's going to be any problems with that. Surely she doesn't lead a level 13 Poochyena, right? Okay, there's the Poochyena. Surely you're not like 10 levels higher than me. Right? Nah, that can't be right. I wouldn't lead a Lechonk in a fight that would just immediately die, right? Oh, it's level 12. Oh, it's a bite. Oh no, Lechonk, no! No, it's dead! Oh no, I'm gonna have to like lose money and do all that. Oh wait, it doesn't matter because, you know, once this fight ends, you just pass through because you can lose this fight. And it's faster to lose. In this game, because animations are turned on, and 4-star may I add, it's just faster when there's a fight to lose, just lose. It'd be really funny when the next DLC comes out and says, oh, you can lose the first fight despite the fact it's a post-game DLC. That would be incredibly funny. But yeah, that's first fight with Carmine. Now we get to actually go into the place that we're going to be staying in this school trip, despite the fact that we can just leave whenever we want. And the game just doesn't suspect us, doesn't suspect anything. So yeah, that's pretty much like the main gist of the plot. We're going to get into more lore details in a little bit. This game is like, you know, it's a Pokemon game. They love to take their time introducing every aspect because of course they do. And yeah, so if you have any messages or donations right now, that'll be a good time to talk about it because nothing much is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you just joining in, our marathon is nearly over, but we are the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. We are a dedicated organization focused on hosting marathons within the Benelux region. We're currently streaming our online event, BSG Online, which features health issues and to support everyone who is dealing with mental issues themselves or within their family. All of your donations will go to Mind.
Yeah, just double checking my stats. I should probably, yeah, so one thing to mention, there's a main gimmick of this game of terrestrialization. That's what she's trying to do and just discover. And one of the things that I've reset it for earlier was for my meta type, soon to be Metacham, is the Terra type. So when you catch a Pokemon is going to have its Terra type based on its original typing, but if it has two types, such as Metacham, who's a Psychic type, and a Fighting type, it has a 50-50 chance of having either Terra type, and for one of the important fights, it is very important to have Terra Psychic, because not only does it give us a boost to our Psychic type attacks, but also removes our Fighting typing, which is going to be very important for one of the fights, because, shall we say, our Fighting type buddy does not like fairy types. So yeah, so now we get to the main gimmick of the thing where we have to pair up with someone, and ideally we pair up with they want to make schools, so we pair up with someone from there. we have a really funny dialogue. I'm gonna say yes, but if you say no, she calls you a weirdo. So you know that's funny. It's like, wait, you just come up to talk to us to be you, and you just don't want to be, you know, pair up with us. You're just gonna come up and talk. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, here we're going to talk to them so that we can then pair up. Make sure you talk to Carmine specifically, because if you talk to Kieran, nothing happens. If you talk to Briar, which is very easy to do, then you just waste time. And oh look, we have another fight. Wait, I just realized something. I didn't switch my Lechonk out now, did I? Surely what happened last time won't happen again, right? We're not just going to lose the fight immediately and lose even more money and stuff, right? Quick attack. No, Lechonk! No, it died again! Oh no, it's gonna be so problematic. I'm gonna have to redo the fight again, and I'm gonna lose, what is it, $24 again? And yeah, it doesn't matter. Wow, reusing the same joke twice. Could not be me. Anyway, those are the final 2 fights that we can actually lose, by the way. We're not gonna be losing the rest of the fights again, because that'll be... Imagine if this entire speedrun was just lose every single fight. The speedrun. That would be an interesting speedrun, but, you know, it then would mean that me catching the meta type is actually just a waste of time, so... But yeah, now we get into the main meat and potatoes of the game, I guess, which is the fact that we are going to... Our main goal now is, according to this game, we need to visit 3 signposts and take a picture with them. And unfortunately, the game is going to force us to do 3 specific signposts, but in a specific order, but that's all right. So, but this section is going to be pretty much the most important section of the run, which is the fact that we are going to be doing a segment that many speedrunners, well, I call it the candy hunt, but many other speedrunners will call it Halloween or around the world, or in this case, around Kitakami. And the main gist is, okay, don't jump over the fence, Koraidon. You may have saw there, we picked up a Carbos, but after this point, we're going to be picking up a bunch of candies, a bunch of experience candies, a bunch of rare candies, and we are going to go from level 20 with our Metatype to level 42 in about roughly 10 minutes, as well as getting what else? Some healing items, and also what else are we getting? Also some fly points as well, so we can do backtracking a whole lot faster. So yeah, here we're going to get a little bit of a lore of the Kitakami region, where apparently there is this ogre that scared people, and then there's the 3 loyal Pokemon that sacrificed their life to quote save them from the ogre. We're going to learn the actual truth of this story, but we'll get to that later. I am not saying getting that later, but yeah, this is pretty much just dialogue central. Especially the fact that the word kaiju is used here, which is, you know, cool. But yeah, he's surprised. Yeah, I know. It's funny that Kieran is like surprised. Like, oh, here's this is just a Pokemon I don't think he's ever seen before, and we're just riding it on as a motorcycle, which is, you know, kind of fun. So yeah, now here comes the moment where I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit of a safety strat, which is going to open the boxes and going to put the Metatype back into the party, just in case I run into something, so I can easily run away from them. And as we begin the candy hunt. So first things first, we're going to grab the rare candy. I'm going to have to remember what candies I pick up again, because I don't think I wouldn't say I forgot, but I need to just like remind myself, because if we don't have enough candies, we're going to be in a bit of a pickle, but I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anything quite yet. I do not need to pick up any of these items. I do need to pick up this. It has been a little bit of a while, but I think I do remember what the candies are. At least I hope so, because if not, we're going to be a little bit under-leveled, but thankfully I do know backup items if we need them. Here we're going to do a little bit of a trick where we can just jump up this wall by backwards jumping. We are then going to touch the flowers here to get ourselves a fly point, and we're going to go fly. Oops, I cannot menu. We're going to fly all the way back to the community center that we just came from. From the community center, I don't think we need to pick up the candy from up there, because there are plenty of candies that you can choose from. Some are a bit slower than others. But, yeah, if I remember correctly, we're going to head over this way. We're going to then collect the rare candy not the rare candy, the experience candy medium that is right here, or small. We need to remember which one's which, but that is alright. We're then gonna then continue following up the path to what is essentially the second signpost. As long as we don't hit, any Pokemon, that will be, ideal. We did switch over the Metatite just in case. If you didn't switch over to Metatite and you hit a Pokemon, you will have you are gonna have to try and run away for level 3 Lechonk, and typically I would consider that to be a run ending if that does happen. But once you get into like a area populated with people, you typically don't have to worry about encounters until you leave that area. So we're gonna grab a few more candy. We're then gonna go up to the Kitakami Hall, and we are gonna activate the second signpost. As I'm just going to extremely quickly refer to my other notes that I have. So if you have like a few quick announcements, now is not a bad time.
Yes, I do. I have 10 euros from Anonymous, without a comment, but thank you nonetheless. And it looks like that one went to the Magicham name choice to have Kira in the lead with 10 euros. But then we have Recold coming through with 80 euros, and he says, "Hey Crisis, old buddy, old pal, you can do whatever you want, but can you not beat up innocent Lechonks, please? Okay, thanks." And it looks like that one also went to the Magicham name choice, which currently puts Lechonk in the lead with 18 euros.
That's fun. Right, did I miss anything? I did not miss anything. Good. Just double checking. So yeah, so Kira is now talking about, hey, would you like to go visit the like ogre's den real quick? And I was like, sure, we won't take 5 minutes to get there, because we're going to be doing other things. Definitely not. So yeah, so we're gonna be doing what we call the final little bit of the candy hunt, where we're gonna be collecting a bunch more experience candies, as well as getting other important flight points too. So we encountered okay, that's interesting, but thankfully, we did run into that, but thankfully with our Metatite, we can just run away easily, because that would have been a bit of a disaster. I didn't see that Pokemon, so, that's fun. Sometimes Pokemon can just spawn in front of you, and you just have to accept the fact that they just spawn in front of you. Because this game has very funky spawn mechanics. As in, they all spawn anywhere and everywhere, and sometimes when they spawn, they just have a massive hitbox for no good reason. So here we're going to... Also, you might notice that this is going to be our fastest movement speed throughout the entire game. We didn't... Typically, you would think that, oh, wouldn't you want to beat one of the Titans to get faster movement? The answer is, going out of our way to beat the Titan is actually slow. So we do not do that. Very important, make sure you go near this sign, because that sign is a flight point. So we're going to need that at least once, which is actually going to be the very next time we come back here. Here we're going to climb up a little bit, and how I have this set up is, as long as the left edge of the north on the compass is pointed up, you can then just move up, no problems. We're going to pick up a safety full restore, just in case. You never know. Okay, the game just decided to freeze for about 1 second. That's okay. Oh, if Tech is wondering, if the game just freezes and stutters, that's just the video game. It sometimes does that. It's not the stream dropping frames. It's just the game dropping frames. Slight difference. This game loves to drop frames a lot, and sometimes it's just scary when it does that. So we're going to be grabbing a few more experience candies. We're then going to drop down here, trying to avoid all these encounters. We're then going to, if I recall correctly, the route, which has been a little bit, it's I want to grab this rare candy over here. We want to touch that signpost there because that is again yet another flight point. We want to grab this rare candy over here. We want to grab the experience candy M over here, and then just past here, that item right down there is once again more experience candies. So after we collect all those experience candies, we're then going to fly back to the Infernal Pass. And once I collect one more candy, we are going to close off the Metacham incentive in just a few moments. So if you want donations, now is probably like the last chance you have. So if you want to snipe, now's your chance. And yeah, so once I grab his final candy, we're then going to be doing some menus, and that will be things. So now is a good time to close off the Metacham incentive, and we'll get to see what the nickname is once I do some menus.
All right, does that mean you want me to close this like right now?
Yeah, not right now.
Okay, I'm gonna do some quick refreshes, and it looks like Lechonk has won that bit war.
Nice. So we'll be renaming our Metacham Lechonk. Sure. So here with all the experience candies, I've done it correctly. We got all the relevant ones. And we now have ourselves a level 42 Metatite that we're going to be sweeping throughout, Metacham that we're going to be sweeping throughout the rest of the game. So here we're going to change nickname. So, right. So, Lechonk. Is it capital L or no capital L?
With.
Lechonk. And then we're going to reteach some moves. So we're going to reteach high jump kick in slot 3. We're going to reteach Zen headbutt in slot 1, our primary move that we're going to be using. And we are going to teach ice... Nope. Game, please. I want to teach ice punch. In slot 2. And that will be our moveset for pretty much the entire game. I need to also pick up this full restore. That's going to be very important later as well. Just in case. And yeah, this is going to be our main Pokemon. The reason why Metacham is actually really, really good, I probably didn't mention this yet. Metacham has only one ability, but that ability is pure power, which doubles our attack stat, which is very, very useful, and you might be confused as to why in this next fight we're not going to be using any physical attacks. We're going to be using special attacks, and the answer to that is the special attack doesn't miss. So we are so high enough level that we can use our weaker special attack, especially with my special attack being minus special attack, to one-shot everything. Because, you know, levels. So, it's funny, we went from, like, level 3 Lechonk just being sacrificed to a level 42 Metacham is going to absolutely, or at least hopefully, sweep the rest of the game. So, Psybeam. So, yeah, we're going to use Psybeam 1. And we are hoping to see no critical hits and try to avoid as many super effective hits as we can. There is a good reason as to why we want to do that. So, side beam number 2. Goodbye, Kieran. Goodbye, Yanma. And then here comes side beam number 3 on this Furret. This Furret can go for an attacking move. Thankfully, it didn't. Because if it went for an attacking move, such as Quick Attack, it just wastes 10 seconds. Because, you know, of course it does. But that is completely fine. Medicham did its job and swept the entire team. And that's how it's supposed to go throughout the entire game. But some fights really love to test... Well, I wouldn't say test your patience, but rather just test the sanity of this game. We'll get to those fights momentarily. Anyway, this is a little cutscene dialogue that I'm gonna do, which is a perfect time for me to check what my evolved stats were. So during that, if you have any messages or just messages in general, now is a good time.
Alright, thank you very much. We would like to thank ESA for supporting the event and for allowing us to stream on their channel. And also by using your free monthly Prime Gaming subscription on the ESA channel, you can unlock access to a range of exclusive ESA and BSG emotes while simultaneously showing support for both of the events. You can use that same Prime Gaming subscription to subscribe to our own channel, BSG_Marathon, to use some of our newest emotes that we've recently added.
Just almost there. 89. Turns out, that's a little bit of a funny thing. Turns out this Medicham is very physically bulky. Not only is this Medicham plus defense, but it's also perfect defense IV. So one thing to know about in this game, every Pokemon has individual values. As I remember, I need to actually fly and not lose track of attention. And it ranges between 0 to 31. As you may probably have guessed, it is a 0 to 32 chance of getting any stat to be any specific number. And it's just funny to see when there's a stat that's 31. Being in this case, this is the most physically defensive Medicham I have ever seen in my life.
Would you say that he's chunky?
I guess I'll say he's chunky. It's a chunky boy. Yeah, chunky boy. I'm gonna show you. Did I just... No, it is a boy. It is male. But yeah. Here we're gonna get introduced to the fact of, Kieran's grandparents, and apparently we're now his friend, allegedly. And we're going to get ready to go into what is the Festival of Masks, which is just more story plot that exists because it's meant to be a celebration of the fact that the loyal three Pokemon managed to get away from... the loyal three sacrificed themselves to save the city from Ogerpon's wrath or something along those lines. Also... Little known difference is that there's also a reason I also chose to speedrun as the girl. The only reason, you're forced to change your hairstyle and clothes in this section, and the girl just looks better. There's no actual reason to. There's no other reason why I chose to speedrun girl or boy. All right, so now we do that. We do a little bit of a movement optimization where we get on Koraidon, get off Koraidon, just a little bit. We are going to try and get off Koraidon every time there's like a cutscene load trigger so that we can just save a little bit of animation time because it will tell us to get off anyway. And if we manually get off, it should be faster, especially if sometimes we get thrown forward instead of just stand there and get off. So sometimes the game likes to throw you forward, and sometimes the game just doesn't throw you forward. It's kind of weird how the game sometimes does it and sometimes doesn't do it. Like there, it's very inconsistent that I get the thrown off forward, but you'll see later that we can get like the I get dismount and just get yeeted across a little bit. Alright, I'm just gonna be completely honest. When I saw the words Lechonk pop up, I thought I actually had the actual Lechonk in slot 1. I actually got scared for a second. I was like, wait. Oh, right, I'm nicknamed Minotaur. Hopefully I don't get those heart attacks every single time, but I may have gotten a small one right there. Here we're going to utilize our other move of Ice Punch. You might have think when it comes to the next Pokemon that's going to be sent out, sure, it's a Grass Ghost type. Surely you want to, I don't know, Ice Punch the Ghost Ice type, the Ghost Grass type with an Ice move for super effective? The answer is no. One thing to note about this fight, and every fight from here on out, is every single one of these characters has something what we call in the community Hop Syndrome. If you don't know who Hop is a trainer from Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield who loves to talk about you using super effective moves every single time you use one. And every single trainer here is also a hop trait. Even the fights that you don't think are hop fights, they are hop fights. And so we want to avoid every super effective move and every critical hit we possibly can. So, we can... Sometimes, if it's faster just to use a super effective move, we will just take the super effective pill. But in most cases, especially when it comes to the lower level fights, when we are like 20 or so levels higher than them, we are going to absolutely avoid using super effective moves like the Plague. So, we're going to get into what I call the favorite section, where I just call it the null of this speedrun. You might be wondering why I call it the null. Well, you're gonna figure that one out very soon. So, remember correctly, we can go back to Kitakami Hall because this is, the Festival of the Masks, and we're gonna get into. I'm just laughing out loud right now, but you'll see. So this is the Festival of the Masks. This is another section of the game where we are apparently not allowed to ride our legendary dragon motorcycle through Kitakami Hall during the festival because apparently it's disrespectful or something. I don't know. But this means we have to, once again, walk throughout this entire thing. We can't go fast in a speedrun. That's a shame. Ooh. This is an interesting Pokemon. I wonder who this Pokemon is. I wonder if we have a donation incentive where we conveniently have to catch it and decide whether or not we have to release the thing. How is that incentive going?
We currently have release in the lead by 35 euros.
Ah, so I see people like to do the speedrun strat. Cool. But, we'll get to that. That's also another thing we'll get to, momentarily. We're taking apparently a nice little photo, despite the fact we're not having the photo animation, despite the fact that we have a photo animation. You might also see, the text box just lagging. It just does that sometimes. Why does it do that? I don't know. But it just does that sometimes. Anyway, also, if you're just seeing, the game just unload and reload everything, that's just, again, the game doing the game things. The game is definitely well optimized for the Nintendo Switch and definitely has absolutely no problems whatsoever. But, yeah. Fun little fact, you make sure you don't accidentally talk to the vendor, because you can talk to the vendor. My personal best, accidentally talk to the vendor. If you're too close to the vendor, so... Especially if you have, Turbo enabled, which most runners do. Just be careful when you're, holding the A button. But now here comes my favorite section because of what the optimal strat is. So this is Ogre Oustin. This is a minigame that, at least for once, you are required to play once. The main thing about the game is you're supposed to go around, collect food, and then put it back into those little containers. And we have a very consistent strat to go fast. I'm not sure who exactly found this strat, but it is pretty much an amazing strat. So, you might ask, what is this, like, amazing strat that we're going to be doing? So once the timer starts, we are going to go to this wall, parallel park, put down the controller, and basically say, yep, just wait till the minigame runs out. I'm not kidding, this is the fastest strat to do it. You see that 105 seconds? That's how long we have to wait now. So, if you have any messages or donations or anything at all, you have 95 seconds.
95 seconds. All right. Well, I don't have any new donations for you, but I could tell people a little bit about UKSG because they have an event coming up. If you want to go to on-site speedrunning events, our brothers in the United Kingdom are hosting UKSG Red 2024 in Glasgow that runs on January 27th until January 28th. They'll be raising money for Crisis. And if you would like to stay updated with our events, follow us on Twitter, Instagram under the handle BSG Marathon. You can get a behind-the-scenes look of the event and stay up to date with the latest news on our marathons, events, and more. How many seconds do I have left?
55.
Oh God! I would also like to remind you that aside from BSG events and our own marathons, ESA hosts many other events across Europe, including the British UKSG, Hackathon, and more. So be sure to drop a follow to see whenever something is live. If you missed a speedrun or want to check out a previous event speedruns, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Did you know that BSG supports small community events as well? You can see events like the Colin McRae-a-thon happening live on our own Twitch channels, twitch.tv/BSG_marathon.com.
You did great.
Oh, I did great. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. A couple of things just to say. One, yes, my name is Crisis. No, they're not raising money for me. They're raising money for a charity called Crisis. Just FYI.
Yes, it's the charity, not the runner.
Couple of things, and yes, you should definitely go to UKSG if you can. Great people, great event. I'm not going this time around because something else is clashing on that day, which is really unfortunate, but highly recommend going if you live in the UK, or just if you just can make it to Glasgow. Let's make a holiday out of it. It's great. But yeah, so that's the strat. Yeah, if you're wondering why don't we just go pick up anything or do that, if you do any action aside from doing nothing, you just lose time afterwards. Even if you just fail, like you have to go through extra menus that we don't want to go through. So the strat is just we do absolutely nothing because we're speedrunners. We find fast that we do things fast, but we also do things lazy because why would we want to put any effort aside from going fast? Anyway, here's what the game decides to describe as a small child, despite the fact that we all know that it's not a small child. It's just the legendary Pokémon that's apparently really good in the competitive scene. Unironically. But as we continue through the null section of the speedrun, and I do genuinely mean the null section, because we're not done. It's kind of like interesting in this Pokemon game where typically we get all the Pokemon lore dump at the end of the game. So we've done the majority of the game, and now we just have to sit through a bunch of cutscenes to get all the lore dump. But in this game, they decided to put the lore dump in the middle of the speedrun. I don't know what I prefer. I think I would have preferred if all the hard fights are done in the beginning and the lore dump is done near the end, because yes, it's like a while to go through, but at least you have a finished run. But here it's like, nope, we're putting all the lore dump in the middle of the speedrun, and if you want the the if you want to do the hard fights, well, you have to continue on. Especially a specific trio is going to be what I consider to be the hardest and most important fights to have good RNG on, which, you know, that's gonna be fun. All right. So when we leave here, I'm really hoping that a certain NPC spawns because we're gonna have a little bit of a funny interaction with that NPC. So as we continue running and making sure that we don't accidentally do a thing. Not quite. Well, actually, look at that NPC. Ah, never mind. If the NPC was next to Kieran and we say yes, that NPC just disappears immediately, which is kind of funny. It's like the NPC just gets Thanos'd. Moving on into more lore dump. We are apparently going to learn the truth. The whole story of the Loyal Three being the guardians of Kitakami. And the ogre being this big, mean Pokemon. It turns out that's just all a lie. And we're going to learn the actual truth by having more static cutscenes because, you know, I do generally call this like the worst part of a speedrun because it's just 10, like I think it's like 15 whole minutes of just absolute nothingness. But also the most important menu of the game because if you screw up this menu, you're just going to be in an infinite loop for about a couple of times. And believe me, when I was not paying attention, if you don't pay attention, you'll just be clicking the same option again and again and again. So when the camera shifts, that's when you need to pay attention. Hardest menu of the game done. Let's go. So now we show Kieran's grandpa the teal mask. Apparently, oh yeah, we just got the teal mask. That should technically mean that the speedrun's over, but you know. There's apparently what is it? Another hour of this category still, so it's not just get the teal mask. Although that would be kind of like a funny meme category if it's just speedrun getting the teal mask. Yeah, here's another weird choice of the game. You have to talk to the grandpa again if you want to see the plot. No idea why they made the choice of that, but yeah, you can just sometimes get confused if you just didn't know what the hell was going on. You have to talk to the grandpa again, but that is okay because we have more plot. And also it started to rain, which I guess now is a good time to talk about weather. We don't like rain. Rain lags the game like crazy. Depending on which area we're going to, it just makes the whole game turn into a slideshow, which is... We'll be seeing one area in particular that loves to basically just say, frame rate? What's that? I don't know what a frame rate is. 60 frames per second, I wonder what that's like. This game will do 30 only on a good day. But yeah, this is the actual truth. The people of the village did not like the look of the guy and the ogre, but so a friendly mask person made these people masks, and people loved these masks. And it just gone through, then the whole talk of the mask gone through everywhere to a point that attracted these three Pokemon, which decided to attack the guy and take the masks. Shout out to the Ogerpon, the only actual Pokemon who canonically killed 3 Pokemon, as it's depicted right here. Like, apparently these Pokemon are dead. Well, at least they're supposed to be dead. We'll get to if they're dead later or not, but yeah. And so that's how the lie of the folktale of the ogre being bad and the loyal three being good are... yeah, that's actually the truth. Right. So I should probably mention a little bit something about the weather cycles. main thing to know about the weather cycles is they either cycle in every 2 or 5 minutes. The game is just a bit weird in that. And it just changes to a random weather. It's only 2 or 5. It's not the other one. So it's even cycle of 2 or cycle of 5. So yeah, the rain started during the cutscene, and now the rain's gone. So we don't like seeing rain. Rain's bad. So apparently we have the teal mask that's apparently chipped. So we're gonna give the mask to the maskman, and apparently we are not allowed to tell Kieran at all because if we do, there's gonna be apparently problems. Also, this bush is clipping through the wall. Now that you've seen it, you now can't unseen it. But yeah, also apparently Kieran listened to us, but again, we don't necessarily... We're speedrunners. Who cares about the plot? Name a speedrunner who cared about the plot in the game. Oh, wait. Anyway. Now that the long dialogue section is done, we can fly to the Kitakami Hall. To the community center. Yes, if you didn't accidentally mark destination, it is actually faster. And we're going to talk to Kieran, who apparently got dressed from spying on us to coming here. Which is interesting. I'm not sure where he got dressed, but oh, that's fine. We're not questioning. Well, I am questioning, but we don't have to question that any further. And we're going to go into what is supposed to be the final objective of this school trip, which is we're going to see the 3rd signpost. And if you remember earlier, we got a few fly points. One of the fly points was the 3rd signpost. So we're just going to fly back there instead of having to, traverse there. Like, walk there. And just hold up and talk to the sign. Also, I just realized that the Terra raid den just, shined and spawned there. That was kind of interesting. And now we get into the 90% time. So, this is going to be what I call the fun section, where I'm going to do a little bit of a thing where for every time I miss, I will donate 5 euros for every time I miss. So, Metacham, you now have the goal of trying to miss every single Zen headbutt that you do. The average is 2. Let's see how many we miss. So, our 2 primary moves are Zen Headbutt, a 80 base power move with a 20% chance to flinch but 90% accuracy, and High Jump Kick, a 130 base power move with 90% accuracy, with the drawback that if you miss, you'll take 50% recoil damage. So, High Jump Kick's the one move that we do not want to miss. So here then comes the Furret. Hopefully it does not go for Baby Doll Eyes. That is unfortunate, because it means that I have to now Ice Punch the next thing. Oh, there's the first miss, so that's already 5 euros. So hopefully it doesn't do it again. We love this video game. So that's already 1 miss down. And because of the Furret Baby Doll Eyesing twice, and now 3 times, we have our attack dropped by 3 stages, which is, not fun. It means we're now only doing less than 50% of the damage that we're supposed to do. I love that we missed twice in a row. 10% chance to miss, and it missed twice in a row, so that's nice 1%. Here, because our attack is dropped 3 times, we're just going to use the quad effective move. And hopefully this kills. Yeah, that's fun video game. So, how this fight is supposed to go, if, the fight, if, we didn't get trolled by missing twice and getting Baby Doll Eyes 3 times, is Zen Headbutt, Zen Headbutt, Zen Headbutt, High Jump Kick. But because we missed on the Furret, which is arguably the worst thing to miss on, we're gonna this is the absolute slowest version of the fight that I have ever seen. And I'm down 10 euros, but it's for charity, so that's fine. Gonna need to have a counter of how many times I missed, but... Okay, well, I'll try and keep track. So now Kieran is apparently getting angry about the fact that he's just constantly losing. As we read our third and final signpost, which is kind of the irony of us reading the signpost about the lore, where it says how the ogre's like a dangerous being that we should like avoid, and it's like if you see the ogre, you will die. But it turns out that's just not really the actual story. We just got fed. Everyone's just been taught a lie. So it's kind of like an interesting storyline. Interesting storyline about also like just kind of interesting commentary, but you know, we'll get to. But which is not normal for a Pokemon game, but I like when they add some social commentary to what is essentially a kid story. Anyway, without further ado, we are going to fly all the way back to the community center. We're going to be hearing me flying back to the community center quite a lot. And we are going to rest up for the night, because that's what the story tells us, which, I'm going to be completely honest, the game does not do a very good job at telling you this is where you need to go next. But, yes, apparently we need sleep, which is a night, which is kind of not, well, who needs sleep? Sleep's for a week. Anyway, Carmine wants to, you know, meet up with her. And essentially what she wants us to do is, apparently the mask that we have, we need to get ourselves a specific crystal to fix the mask. And so that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And also not tell Kieran about anything, because she's a bad sister. And we're a bad friend. And the place that we're going is, well, I hope you like your frame rate, because where we're going, the frame rate doesn't exist. But there's a little bit of a cutscene here, so if you have any announcements, messages, anything, now's a good time.
Yeah, I would like to remind people that we have one very last incentive left, which is the Keep or Release Ogrepon incentive, in which we currently have Release in the lead by 35 euros, and Keep in second place with 18 euros. So if you want to snipe that incentive, or make sure that Release gets its well-deserved place, get your donations in.
Yeah. So now, we're going to fly back to the Infernal Pass, and we're going to head up to the Crystal Pool. Which, okay, game, thank you for telling me I cannot ride Karide on there, because I'm too close to the side. And we're just gonna head up to the Crystal Pool. Now, there is technically a way to backwards ledge jump up the mountain and get to the Crystal Pool a different way. However, that mode is not faster. Your reward would have been an Experience Candy Medium, but that Experience Candy Medium is not worth the trouble. Especially the fact that we are now high enough level that it does not matter. So we're going to continue over, avoid encounters. This is kind of like the last possible opportunity that encounters can be a pain in the bum. But overall, it's not really that big of an issue. Probably can just talk a little bit about the other mains. From what I've just gathered, Medicham has only 4% of all Medichams are apparently runnable, which I didn't know that until today. So that's fun. But apparently it can be, but thankfully you only have to play the first 2 minutes of the game just to know. You could have worse mains. Gallade and Gardevoir have slightly better chances of you having a good main. However, your resets is 20 minutes. So you're willing to reset for 20 minutes every time to check Pokemon stats. Gladen Gardevoirs for you. Anyway, look at this dropped frame rate. You can tell by the text as well. We love drop frame rates. Fun fact, if it rains here, it's even worse. So, thankfully, the game decides not to rain here because, you know, if it does, we're gonna just, you know, have a wonderful time here. But yeah. This is a interesting fight against the Milotic because we are doing this as a 2v1. We're gonna see more of these 2v1 fights later, but this Milotic is not really that impressive. As long as we do not miss high jump kick, which we don't, Milotic then just goes down. No real problems there. Because of the nickname, I'm now just picturing a Lechonk, an actual just Lechonk, using a high jump kick. And that would just be like one of the funniest things just to imagine. I don't know about you, but I think that's like one of the most, like, just Lechonk jumping up and just kicking you. That would be a sight to behold. Anyway, we're going to get this interesting little detail about the crystals here, where apparently the land of Kitakami you can also terrestrialize, even though that's supposed to be a main gimmick in Paldea. But that's apparently a thing, but we don't need to really care about it too much. That's the lore reason why we can terrestrialize here, by the way. Because those crystals are there. Briar wants to do research on trying to get terrestrialization to be done anywhere in the world. But also find Terrapagos, which is next month's DLC. So if you want to know more about the plot of this game, next month is going to be Indigo Disc release season, which, shall we say, I plan to do probably Scarlet and Violet's longest category that isn't Catch 'em All, which is every story. And also catch Terrapagos as well. See how that goes for me. I expect it to take at least 10 hours to do. Minimum. Hopefully less, but, you know. We're not there yet. Anyway, this is Kirin 4? Yes, Kirin 4. I should probably mention they have 5 Kirin fights, so this is the 4th Kirin fight where plot things, he stole the Teal mask, so now we have to get it back. And he's now confronting about the fact that we knew and he didn't, and now he's getting angry. He's getting very angry. And he's going to challenge us to a fight, and we're going to be like, yeah, sure, we'll just quickly sweep you over because, you know, we have a Medicham who's just going to be punching through things. Well, I guess headbutting through things is probably the correct terminology. So this is yet another fight where we're just going to have to Zen Headbutt a couple of times and hope we just don't miss. We're currently at 2 misses. So there's 10 euros that I'm going to have to... Is it euros or is it dollars that I have to donate for?
It's euros.
Euros, okay. Not sure if that's better or worse for the exchange rate for GDP. I'm going to have to figure that one out later. So here's Zen Headbutts. And we're just gonna, you know, sweep. There's one thing that we're actually not going to Zen Headbutt, which is a great thing because our attack is high enough that we can actually Ice Punch the next thing, which is a Cramorant, which, thanks to its Water Flying type, Ice Punch is neutral, and therefore we can skip super effective text because we don't like super effective text. So here we go. We don't like super effective text, and we don't like crit text. If you've seen Kirin 3, that's if we get super effective text, or even if Kirin attacks, we just get more text boxes. So ideally, we want to sweep as fast as possible without seeing that many text boxes. There are some text boxes that we just cannot avoid, and we're just going to have to take the L, but with a lot of other text boxes, we're just going to skip if we can. This is a scary one because high jump kick is always the scary one. Because if you miss, you take 50% recoil, but you haven't missed the high jump kick yet. So, fingers crossed we don't miss anymore. And that is Kieran 4. Not the scariest Kieran fight, that's Kieran 5. Kieran 5 is scary. But now he's gonna be angry, and as all angsty teenage kids do, we punch a wall when we get angry. No, don't worry, I punched the wall once. It hurt my hand like crazy. But, you know, we all go through that phase in life. But apparently, a little funky thing about Kieran is that he punched that wall so hard, or he punched the wall in a very specific way, that apparently, the loyal trio, which is supposed to be, dead, got revived. Not exactly sure how that works, so if someone wants to type in the lore as to how these 3 Pokemon got revived, let me know. Of your game theory as to how the loyal 3 got revived, because the game never explains it, by the way. The game is like, yep, nope, they're just back now. And we have to deal with them. And they are the 3 scariest fights in the entire game. Well, at least 3 fights that I wouldn't say scary as in that it can go wrong, although one of them can definitely go extremely wrong. They're just the biggest time loss fights in the entire game if they do go wrong. We'll get to why they are so problematic when we get to those fights, but they are the main reason why psychic Pokemon are the main Pokemon that we use in the speedrun category. Because, I'm just gonna say it right now, all 3 of them are poison types. Now, you might be thinking, oh, surely we can also use a ground type? Unfortunately, we don't have access to good ground types. The best ground type that we have access to is, I believe, Sandslash, and even then, no one's actually done a route because it doesn't get good ground moves. Like, all the ground Pokemon that we have just don't have good ground moves. Because High Horsepower is a TM that is in Kitakami, but it's located in a place that you cannot get it unless you have Wall Climb or the other thing, or Wall Climb or Glide, so you can't get it. And yeah, the issue is just that most ground type Pokemon just don't get good ground type moves. And the other one is like Earthquake, but most of them either don't learn Earthquake despite being a ground type or learn Earthquake super late. So, yeah. We're going to do a movement that I do that no one else does. Typically, this movement is slightly faster. It's called, I don't have a name for this. It's just, I guess I just call it the Crystal Pool movement, because we go to the Crystal Pool. Typically, if you could go to the Inferno Pass and just walk up, but if you do a BJ up this wall cliff right here, and then just go ahead and like slide down, because sliding is faster than running down, and then you just drop off right here, you can go exactly where the other place is, except you do it 2 seconds faster. Gliscor is also another interesting ground type that you could potentially run, if we're just quickly going through that ground type discussion. The only issue with Gliscor is technically, it only evolves at night. And it's only nighttime in the game in one specific section, so you have to evolve it at that point. If not, you cannot use Gliscor. So here's one of the loyal trio, and this is the only one we have to fight. We kind of would have preferred if it's a different one, because this being psychic and poison actually being psychic and poison actually means that it takes a neutral hit from psychic, not super effective, so we can't just take it out in one hit. But with Metachan, that's not a problem. So I wish all the Titanic fight, all the loyal trio fights go like this. It's just one hit KO City, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. So you would think that you have to fight the other three right here, but the Carmine and Kieran come over and be like, and the loyal trio's like, yeah, nope, we just dip. I was like, bye, we don't want to deal with you. At least not yet. But unfortunately, they did steal. Not only did they decide to bully Ogerpon, they also stole the masks that we're going to have to retrieve back real quick. However, apparently we have no idea where we are, despite the fact that we have an exact idea of where they are. So we're going to have to gather the information mission, which is just talk to exactly 3 NPCs. And then we get to what I call the 3 most annoying fights in the entire game. So during this little time, any messages or donations?
Yes, I do. I have 25 euros from SNR Zora, saying Yato said that I should donate €1 for each time Ninja did a laser attack on my Frontiers run. Well, Ninja did attack once, but I wanted to give more to this banger event. Thank you, BSG. Thank you, hosts. It's been awesome. And there's also somebody in the chat who says that you have an amazing username.
Ah, thank you. Well, thank you, random user who I cannot see. Because chat's obscured for me a little bit. But yes, now we have Ogerpon in our party-ish. No, Ogerpon is just now going to be following around. Isn't she cute? She's like adorable. It's like anyone who says anything bad about Ogerpon is like, I need you to leave. But it's like, get out. But fun little thing. You're supposed to come to the community center, and it's like, the game doesn't expect you just to fly here, despite the fact you can just fly here. So the game's just like, you warp there, and it's like, wait, no, there's a cutscene that needs to be triggered, so it just puts you out there. But, yeah. Ogerpon does not like going to the town, so we're just gonna have to make her wait here. As, we get... And yes, this is the Pokemon that we'll be catching. So the question is, do you want this Pokemon to be part of our party? Or do you want her to, or do you want us to ditch her? Make your choice. You have about half an hour-ish to make your decision. So as I mentioned before, we're going to talk to 3 specific NPCs. NPC number 1, who knows about the location of the bird. NPC number 2, who knows the location about the dog. And NPC number 3, who knows about the monkey. And we're going to be doing it in the reverse order. So, if you know Scarlet and Violet's main gimmick, Scarlet and Violet's main gimmick is the fact that it is an open world game, meaning that you can do any objective in any order. The DLC kind of is very much more linear, but now we finally get the choice of multiple different options. And what I mean by multiple different options, I mean 3. We have to go collect the 3 masks back, and we now we have essentially the order of choice. However, I'm just gonna say this right now. There's 3 orders that you can do: monkey, Dogi, and Pheasantipity, or Pheasantipity, Ogie Dogie, Monkey Dory, because of how fly points work and just how moving around the map works. And Monkey Dory is slightly more optimal doing first than Pheasantipity. So we'll be doing it in the order of Monkey Dory, Pheasantipity, and Monkey Dory, Okie Dokie, and then Pheasantipity. Now, first thing to note is for this fly menu, look down, then fly, because then the menus don't lag. And you might be thinking, well, we beat Monkey Dory before. It was like very easy. surely the next fight is not going to be a problem, right? Wait, he kind of looks a lot bigger than last time. And that's because they are a lot bigger than last time. Arguably, you could make the guess that they are 4 times bigger than last time. And that is the main gimmick. They have 4 times as much HP as you'd normally fight them. And even though this is a 2v1, they have an ability that can make you lose a bunch of time, but also the fact that this Morpeko will always activate its ability every single turn. So ideally, you want to defeat them in a fast amount of turns. This is where, if you remember, a lot earlier, we bought ourselves X items, and we're going to be using the majority of them in these fights. So here X item is an item that uses up your turn, but allows you to increase your Pokemon. You raise your attack stages by 2. So that's going to be really... And we're going to do that twice to increase our attack by 400%. That is how it works, right? You raise it by 50% each time. No, 300%. My bad. So here... Yes, so you can see how slow these fights can really be. So here we're going to use yet another X attack. And we're hoping to see a Leer from this Morpeko. We're also hoping not to see Confusion. Nice. That's unfortunate. So because of that, I need to, if I remember correct, do this. So this is the first case of us actually terrestrializing. It's pretty slow to terrestrialize, as you can see here. However, it does give us the extra power that it needs to one-hit KO the entire thing, because funnily enough, this is another hop fight where if you crit or use a super effective move, it will just kill you. It will just, well, not kill you, but you have text boxes. However, for this fight specifically, they won't activate the text box because they only activate at the end of the turn that you use the super effective move. So we can so by one hit KOing the Titanic Monkey Dory and Titanic over just the Titanic Pokemon, I call them Titanic because they are the Titanic Monkey Dory, we just avoid all those text boxes. So that's why I set up to +4 and also use the Terra to 1-hit KO. If the Morpeko used Leer, we would not have to need to Terra, but because unfortunately it did not do Leer, we have to use a Psychic Terra just to avoid the text boxes, which is still faster. We haven't got to why these Pokemon are annoying yet, because Monkey Dory, despite having 3 moves, its ability didn't proc, so I'm hoping for the rest of them they don't proc, but they do have extremely slow abilities that we hope not to see. So here is the second fight. As you can see, he's just going up and down on the spot. That's a little bit weird, but, you know, it does what it does. And despite this Pokemon being, you know, a poison and fighting type, taking quite effective damage from psychic moves, it still requires setup. And if I read my notes correctly, it is X attack plus Zen Headbutt spam, because unfortunately +4 doesn't quite do it. Also, every Titanic Pokemon, as we mentioned, but as I haven't mentioned yet, they also get a stat boost. Monkey Dory got a special defense boost, which is not really impactful. Okidogi unfortunately gets a +2 physical defense boost, so that's why it takes really well the Zen Headbutt that we're going to be throwing out against it in just a clean moment. We would like to see Morpeko use Leer, but this is the fight that it's least likely to use Leer. So hopefully it actually does use Leer. Does it do Leer? This is the annoying move. Really? I'm getting lucky with these non-poisons. Nice paralysis. And then here we go ahead and just spam the Zen Headbutt move. If it lands, which it does, we actually have a good chance that this Okidogi does not move at all, which is kind of cool. So 20% flinch chance plus a 30% chance of paralysis proccing. So let's see if that happens. Nope. As it goes for Poison Fang. And that does poison. Poison Fang does have a 50% chance to poison, and you will see how slow poison is. Just like, you have to see... Yeah, that's kind of like the thing we want to try and avoid with all the status conditions. Because status is extremely slow. But typically it's just RNG. One thing we haven't mentioned, that I haven't mentioned because it hasn't procced yet, is every single Pokemon has the ability Toxic Chain. Which means that every time it uses any move of any type, as long as it uses any damaging move, it has a 30% chance to just to badly poison you. Which is slightly different from poison, which is poison you lose 1/8 of your health every turn. Whereas badly poison you lose 1/16, but every turn it goes up. So first turn 1/16, second turn 2/16 until you lose a lot more HP. And we really don't want to see it because it's just a slow ability. It's just a really slow ability to see. It's just really slow. Like, just as you saw with just the one turn of status, it's just really slow. We prefer to have the status proc as late as it possibly can, because for every turn we are status, we will see a turn of Poison Tick, one turn of just all these small animations, which add up to a lot of time loss, which we don't like to see. So this category is a lot more, compared to all the other Pokemon categories in this game in particular, a lot more RNG based on those like small little moments, which makes it either really, really fun or really, really annoying to run against, depending on who you are. Here we're going to take a little bit more of a scenic route with Serendipity. The intention was for us to go the other way, but, you know, if we just go up the mountain, we're fine. And we're supposed to follow it in this cave. Guess what we're going to do? We're not going to do that at all. We're just going to go this way. Because the cave is just a spiral that just eventually leads us down this way. So why take the long way when we can just take the short way? So we're going to move... Make sure we fall in a kind of like a specific location, but also be extremely careful not to get a glitch called the Infinite Fall Glitch, where, as the name suggests, you can be put into a state where you're infinitely falling, and it's not fun. But this is the fight where Psychic Terror is, for the most part, a requirement. And the reason why I reset immediately when I saw Fighting Terror. This is a Pop Fairy type, and shall we say, Medicham does not like its fighting type right here. So we are going to actually get rid of the fighting typing by terrestrializing. So as I mentioned before, terrestrializing, not only do you get an increase to power of your psychic moves, but you remove the other typing. And removing the fairy typing here, the fighting typing here, means that Serendipity is unlikely to deal a lot of damage to us. It will most likely be using Dazzling Gleam turn 1 because that's how the AI is programmed. And fun little fact about this Morpeko. Morpeko has a 50% chance to live this Dazzling Gleam. It sadly did not, because we would like to have seen Valir, but it's alright. So there are two ways to do this fight. I am doing what I call the safe strategy, which is just Zen Headbutt twice. You can go for the X attack strategy, but then it means you have to take one turn of one turn from Serendipity, which can be a bit annoying. So I'm definitely doing the safe strat for a marathon, where I'm just going to be doing Zen Headbutt a few more times. Hopefully Mariana uses the takedown, and as you can see, this the toxic chain there. Hopefully, if we just end this turn, then we don't have to worry about it. I actually don't think takedown knocks it out. Yeah, shame. So this is a 3-turn fight, unfortunately. Hopefully, I don't go below half HP. Nice. So all I have to do now is just hit the Ice Punch button, and this Serendipity's down. So not a bad Serendipity fight. This is actually the scariest of the 3 Titanic fights, especially if you choose to do the risky strat. But for this marathon, I chose to do the safer strat. If you get perfect good luck, you can just do this in 2 turns, but 3 turns is something that is completely acceptable for a marathon run. And that is the final Titanic Pokemon that we have to fight. Final Titanic fight. And we've now obtained all 3 of the masks, and now Ogerpon is happy. And so now it has all the masks, and Kieran be like, hey, we should bring back Ogerpon to the village, to the community center. Because, you know, he's been doing something, and so, you know, we should trust him. He's not... I don't think he's trying to do anything malicious or anything, right? But it doesn't matter. We're going to do what he does, because apparently we're going to trust him. Despite the fact that he stole the mask. Stole the grass mask from us, but... Stole the teal mask from us, but... That's absolutely fine. We're going to do the funny little thing from the community center, which is... the fact that we're going to fly to the community center, but the game's like, wait, there's a cutscene that needs to be triggered from outside of the community center, so it's going to be having to reload us here, because, you know, that's funny. And we are actually kind of getting closer and closer to the release versus ditch. So how is that incentive going?
That's currently still... Release is currently still in the lead with 35 euros, and Keep in second place with 18 euros.
Okay, so also there's also time where there's like a few more cutscenes that we have to talk about before we get to the next set of fights. So if you have any messages or donations, now is also a good time.
I don't have any donations for you right now, but I can tell a little bit more about the organization that we're raising money for. We are raising money for Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and to support everyone who is dealing with mental issues themselves or within their family. All of your donations will go to Mind.
Yeah, so Kieran actually told everyone the truth, and everyone now apparently believes Kieran, and now it says that we've been doing things wrong. So now Ogerpon is now an accepted member of society, which, you know, fun. Kieran has this look in his eyes, which is not suspicious whatsoever, but we don't care exactly as of right now, because we are going to be heading back to the Crystal Pool to go back to the Ogre's Den and start the final 3 fights of the game. So once again, we're going to be doing the ever so slightly faster movement of going to Ogre's Den, which is BJing up this cliff right here. This one specifically, because this one is steep. Well, not steep enough. Well, steep enough to do ledge jumping, which apparently we're going to be jumping left and right. That's all right. The weather just drastically changed to something mid jump, which is, you know, fun. Or just the time change. I don't know which one happened. But that's fine. It was just weird. The colors just changed. And we're just going to fall. Because we love falling. And this can be a scary fight. With my chunky Medicham, it shouldn't be that scary of a fight. Because we have like the best defense in the world and we need to take 1 physical hit. But it can be scary if we miss. Thankfully, we have autosave, so if we just miss, we can just home YA. If you run on the Switch, you know exactly what those buttons do. If you're not a Switch runner, then it's similar to what many PC runners might choose to do in their speedrunners by clicking Alt F4. It's the Switch equivalent. So, we are apparently now fighting to see which one owns Ogerpon, and apparently we have to win, despite the fact that we don't actually want her. More on that later. And yeah, we're just going to do the normal fight of just using an X attack and just sweeping the game. If you've seen Pokemon speedruns, you pretty much just... It's general gist of Pokemon speedruns. Use an X attack or use an X item, sweep. So I want to actually talk a little bit about the interesting thing about this shift tree. It knows the move Fake Out. It should use the move Fake Out, but it never does. We don't know why it doesn't. Because in the... because I'll talk a little bit more about this, but technically there's two versions of every fight. And the other version it does, but this one it doesn't. Which is interesting. Unless it uses it right now, in which case it'll be the first time we've ever seen this shift tree use Fake Out, which will be incredible. No. Does use Aerial Ace, which is completely fine. And then here we go ahead and use Ice Punch. There are some Zen Headbutts that we're going to have to go for. Which is, you know, fun. But hopefully we don't have to see any of that. So yeah, Mega is going to be Ice Punch. This is again another fight that we're going to have to just take the super effective pill. Because we're going to need to use super effective moves. Also, wait, did I not see super effective text? Oh yeah, I don't think we actually get a super effective text box for this one. Just a crit one. So we don't have to worry about super effective text box here because this is the only Kirin fight that doesn't have a super effective text box. Here we're gonna... But also, we have to use Zen Headbutt on this because otherwise it doesn't kill. And this next one has... two ways you can do this next Probo Pass. I'm gonna do the safe version, which is double Zen Headbutt. Or Zen Headbutt plus Ice Punch, depending on how much damage the Zen Headbutt does. That's not enough. There is another way you can do this fight. And it's Ice plus High Jump Kick. High Jump Kick is obviously a small little issue. Because if you miss, you're dead. You're just done. The fight's over. But thankfully, the other alternative is just double Zen Headbutt. Arguably, Ice Plunge plus High Jump Kick is faster because of move time animations. But because I want this run to finish, we're just gonna go for the safer one. But also means I have more chances to miss, which means more money to give to charity. Which we're currently at, what, still 2 misses, so 10 euros. We still have plenty of chances to miss, by the way. It's not over yet. But here, so now we have the right to catch Ogerpon, which due to story legendary moment, we are going to be catching, but also story legendary moment. We're going to be catching it in a unique way, where what I mean by that is in the fight itself is unique. So if you've done legendary catching before, typically it's you weaken it, you then chuck Pokeballs or Great Balls or Ultra Balls until it gets in, and it gets in. This fight's a little bit more different, interesting, and unique, where we're going to be fighting Ogerpon 4 times before we can then guarantee catch the Pokemon. So, oh yeah, I should probably mention, this is your final opportunity to decide whether or not we release or not release, because once we get a Fade to Black on the cutscene, we're going to be closing the incentive. So there's going to be a specific Fade to Black that I'm going to ask to close the incentive, which I'll say when. But this is the final opportunity to say to yourself, are we releasing Ogerpon, or are we keeping it in our party for the final fight? We'll get to which one is faster afterwards, but so far, if I remember, Release is winning, so if you want us to actually keep her, gotta donate now. The fight in of itself is pretty cool. Each of the Ogerpon masks gives a boost to a specific stat, and if you play this fight casually, it's like a really, really cool fight, but if you do it as a speedrun, it's just hit the inaccurate move 4 times and win the game. You know what's interesting? I don't think I've seen a crit yet, which is kind of funny because I'm normally supposed to. Normally I expect like at least 1 to 2 crits per run, but it's like we haven't gotten any yet. As I say that, we're probably gonna get the crit in this next fight, aren't we? Nope. I'm still allowed to say that. I'm still allowed to say crits. I'm still apparently just safe from crits. Apparently this Medicham does not want to crit at all, which I wish, you know, I could get an actual Medicham that could also not crit at all in my actual speedruns, but, you know, we can't always get everything. So here we're going to have the Rock Terror Mask. This is unfortunately when we do have to use super effective moves because the +1 defense is bulky enough for us to not one-hit KO it, so we have to use the fighting move. That is not the fighting move. What? Way to go, me. Well, I guess I can... Way to go, me. I forgot where the fighting move was. It's just not 1-up, it's 2-up. Thankfully, the rock move just doesn't do anything, so we're just gonna high jump kick. Thank you. I was like, look, you know, adapting to Ogerpon's type. I knew you could handle this. I know about super effective moves. You don't have to remind me. Also, it's kind of obvious what type each mask is. It's like they're not even trying to hide it. And then we get the opening cinematic for the trailer for the Teal mask, where we thought that this Pokemon was going to be like the final boss. I mean, technically it is the final boss, but I love how they gave us false expectations in the trailer when this DLC was released. Anyway, remind myself, I need to click the Ice Punch button. Because apparently I pressed Side Beam by accident. So we lost a turn, but who cares? But now we've defeated all of Ogerpon's masks. We're going to catch the legendary in a Pokeball, because every ball is guaranteed in. If we had a quick ball, I would have tried to did a funny and catch it in a quick ball just to insult all the shiny hunters on Twitter, but you know. But Pokeball is, because it's just convenient that we just have 14 Pokeballs. Fun fact, if you have no Pokeballs or any Pokeballs at all, the game will just give you one. They're just like, here you go, you have a Pokeball now. You must catch the thing. Also, this text box lags like crazy. It's like this game is like, oh, you made through the entire DLC and probably the main game as well. I'm surprised you don't. I'm surprised you know type matchups. But anyway, this is your final chance of sniping. Do we keep or do we release? Because once this cutscene fades to black, we will be closing the incentive, because that gives me enough time to then do the menu that we need to do it. So, if we want to keep one release, this is the final chance for sniping. And then we'll explain which one's actually faster for the speedrun. And we can close the incentive now.
Alright, I'm just gonna do some last second refreshing, but it looks like we are going to release our little friend.
Yes, so I guess we are all speedrunners here, because releasing is actually the fastest thing to do in this speedrun, not the actual slowest. So, and the reason why releasing is faster is the next fight. The next fight is Carmine 3. So, Carmine 3 wants us to... So, for that, boxes, release, yes, goodbye, Ogerpon. So, Carmine 3 wants us to fight her with Ogerpon. And essentially she will refuse to fight with us if Ogerpon is still in our boxes, and it must be in our party. It doesn't have to be in the lead, but it has to be in your party. But if we release Ogerpon, the game has a failsafe being like, wait, it's not in your boxes or in your party? Or like, do you want to fight anyway? And do we like, sure. And that's it's just much faster to fight without Ogerpon than it is to fight with Ogerpon. So that's why it is actually faster to release the thing. If you're wondering, if we did have Ogerpon, the strat would be, literally be lead Ogerpon and sack it. So at least we save Ogerpon from being bitten by a Fire Fang. So at least you people were merciful in that respect. But this is the final fight of the game. Pretty self-explanatory as pretty much most other fights, which is just X attack and click the right move and win the game. The only thing that is a little bit annoying is Mightyena does have the Intimidate ability, which just dropped our attack by 1 stage. I don't actually think we would need to set up if it doesn't do that, but because it does do that, we are going to X attack to get ourselves from two-thirds of our attack stat to 150% of our attack stat. We would prefer if it actually attacked, but it's fine. Then here, we go ahead and go through the final thing. We actually missed our first high jump kick. Let's go. Actually, do we just die here? No, it just goes for Hal. So that is a 15 euros I'm going to have to donate because we missed 3 moves this speedrun. We could still miss more. We still have 3, we still have 1 more high jump kick to go for. So we'll see what happens. So here's the Morpeko. We're just gonna punch it in the face with an ice punch. That's for wasting all our time in the other fights, by the way. We don't like you, Morpeko. We're gonna have a Sinistcha, who is new Pokemon in this game, which is what I'm gonna call. Is that like an abbreviate evolution or like? I forgot what. There's a special name for like these Pokemon that's like similar to old Pokemon but not quite new. And something to know about our speed stat. We have what we call the minimum speed stat, but if we had higher speed, I believe we would be able to outspeed the Ninetales coming up. But sadly, we probably do not have enough speed to outspeed this Ninetales, so hopefully it does not click Will-O-Wisp. Didn't click Will-O-Wisp, but if we miss this high jump kick, we have to do this whole fight again. But thankfully, we did not. And that is it. That is the final fight of the game. But just for tech to be well aware, there's still 4 more minutes of this speedrun. Because we have our good old favorite dialogue boxes. So that is pretty much it for this speedrun. I have like 4 minutes to kill of a speedrun. So I guess I can just like quickly start with like a little bit of outro stuff. Well, actually, let me just rethink my whole head. This is Pokemon Scarlet, the Teal Mask, one of the 4 single story categories in this game. If you are interested in running this game, definitely check out the Pokemon Switch speedrunning Discord server, which is available on speedrun.com. We have a wonderful community that will basically just allow you to learn any of the Switch Pokemon games. We're welcoming, and if you have any questions about Scarlet and Violet, any of its single story categories or DLC category, I am effectively the encyclopedia of this game. I know the majority of this game off the top of my head. So you ask me anything, I can give you the advice. I also written the notes for any percent, as I do currently have the current world record for any percent. I've done new strats and stuff, so if you have any questions about that, you can go ahead and ask me. As a little quick plug for like myself, I stream here. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv. That crisisaurus. If you click the at me, you can follow me. I do more Scarlet and Violet. I also do other interesting games like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for the Nintendo DS, but Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are definitely my main focuses right now, especially next month when Indigo Disc DLC speedruns do release. You can definitely expect me, maybe not exactly on day 1, but like day 2 to 3, expect to see speedruns of the entire game when that comes out. And, wow, this cutscene is still going, isn't it? And, yeah, oh, I should probably do a few shoutouts. A shout out to Iron, who for a little bit was in this chat. He made the Medicham route, the run that I'm doing. He made that, so without him, we wouldn't have, instead of Medicham, we would have a Psychic Bird instead. Been doing this run. Give a shout out to also Spider, who made the God of War route. So if you want to try yourself with 20-something% resets, 20 minutes into a speedrun, go check out the God of War route. Also, quick shout out to Dynam, who made the Gallade route. So if you want 11% chance of runnable after 20 minutes, go ahead and ask him all about that. And yes, so speedrun's still going, by the way, Tech. Time will end. There'll be a to be continued. Once that to be continued fades away, that will be time, as here is the foreshadowing / what is gonna happen in Indigo Disc. Who knows? This is the Kirin villain arc that I'm hoping to be good. So let's see about that. But, yep, that is the end of the speedrun. And 146 is actually not bad for a marathon at all. So time will be now. And that's it. Yeah, I have to also find out.
Were you gonna say like any ending stuff, or is that just?
Oh, I thought I already said all my ending stuff for the 4 minutes that I was talking, but I guess I just have to go ahead and get my wallet and donate 15 euros once we go into mission.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for your 15 euros. And yeah, with that, everybody, that was the very last run of this marathon. But we're not quite done yet, because we're still gonna have to go to an outro. So sit back, relax, and let's say goodbye.